another thing we point out before, halacha doesn't talk about rights, right? Halacha talks about obligations, obligations, and when you're not obligated, and things that people elect to do in serving God. So the idea of a right is very strange to halacha. I don't think it's resolvable with halachic speech. You can't learn halacha and then talk about rights.
Someone kept
But
telling me we should make a constitution.
we have the Torah.
Everything, we don't need anything more than that. What's missing?
Yeah, but that which they describe as rights, let's say the right to life, is an assumption of the Torah. The right to property and life, and perhaps happiness. No, I don't know if that's necessarily right, but you understand that's what people are going for. If do as Hashem b'simcha. So I've heard talk about among Western intellectuals about how they're realizing about rights are being used against the West. Well, give them free speech. Even the people who are marching to destroy your country within your country, they have the right to free speech, and therefore those rights should. They're realizing that the right to free speech is actually harming themselves, so it has to be curtailed. It can't be extended to those who want to break the rules of others. The people who are saying we'd like to silence everybody, Nazis who say we want to take away everybody's rights. So it's our right to march try to destroy civil rights and citizens' rights and humans' rights. So they should not have those rights. Okay. So, for example, the people who they don't keep the rules. So you have a Geneva Convention, let's say. So the Geneva Convention should not protect, let's say, those people who want to break the convention. They've already said they have no intention of keeping the rules. They've already shown that they break the rules. So those who are fighting against them should not have to keep the rules. They've already broken it. You're playing. They broke the Calvin ball game. They show they're not playing. They're not honest players. So, for example, we should not restrict those who are fighting against the enemy that flouts the Geneva Convention. Okay? We can't restrict them. So, how about freedom of speech? That's the most important right, short of the right to life. That's the most important right. Correct? So, freedom of speech should not extend to those who wish to rob others of their freedom of speech. So the question is, what's the halachic basis for that? Okay, is there a halachic basis for this idea that freedom of speech should not be extended to those who would wish to rob others of their freedom of speech? And the answer is yes. There's a very legitimate halachic argument for such a thing. Murderers, those who are trying to rob others of the right to life. If there is a right to life, it is described in the Torah. That's what the Torah's assumption is. What they call right to life is saying it's given in the Torah.
Something that doesn't have to be said.
Yeah, it's a given. It's an assumption. So if you have someone who is trying to rob someone else of his right to life, rob the other of his right to life, he's a rodef, for example, or a murderer. If he's even attempting to do so, he's already given up his right to life. That's called a pursuer. It's a rodef. The one who wants to murder, the one who has committed murder, we saw. What does the Torah demand? One who committed murder, he robbed another of the right to life. So his right to life is suspended by the rest of humanity and by God. The rest of humanity on the authority of God. So too, one who is trying to kill another is put to death. That's the rodef. Self-defense. One can defend himself from a rodef and has an obligation to defend others from a rodef. So, or the Chazal said, the baba machteres. What's a baba machteres? That's a burglar, one who's sneaking in at night. He's tunneling in to the other guy's house in the thick of the night, under cover of darkness. So he's considered a pursuer. Ain't no dumb. He's already given himself up. If he gets himself shot, that's his own fault. Why? Because he took that risk. The person who catches him in the act has to assume that now he has to use lethal force. Why? Because this guy, this one who's sneaking in, is going to use lethal force. So basically, that says if you have those who are waiving their rights to life, so too, kal v'chomer. If we could do this with the right to life, we could do this with the other rights that we assume a person has: the right to speak his mind, the right to own property. He who has stolen it from others, or he who intends to steal it from others, has it removed from himself. So one who steals others' property has his property removed. He has to, pay back, and society has to deal with him. One who intends to steal from others is prevented from stealing from others. One who is trying to get other people, silence other people, is himself silent, just like one who tries to kill is himself killed. Okay? Makes sense? Yes. So that's I think a Jewish way of thinking about the right to life and other freedoms that people might enjoy in the Western world, and why the good Western world, if there are Gentiles out there listening, the proper ethical and moral response to what's going on now is to fight evil. I understand that a lot of Gentiles can't; they're already weakening, even though this is obviously a righteous battle between good and evil. Many of them, like the usual types, are wavering, like, oh, yeah, Jews do have the right to defend themselves, but there's so many civilian casualties, like maybe you should do something already. Even decent Gentiles, at least the ones who are vocal. So someone should tell them, either you're with us all the way, or just be quiet. And I think that many of us have already said it now. It would be better if, let's say, the American establishment, I don't know who to name specifically, just not give us money so they don't have to blackmail us into doing the wrong thing. It'd be better just to have a nice, clean divorce, a hit not coot from America.